Hello and welcome back to Disc Golf Daily, the podcast that tries to catch you up on all things disc golf in 8 to 10 minutes. Thanks to everyone who's emailed in, commented on one of our social posts, or told a new friend about us. It's awesome to see our listeners grow. I'm Brian Papa Wolf Frawley, and I had last week off, so happy Labor Day to you. And ooh, does it feel like fall out there. At least up here in Michigan, where we had DGLO this weekend, a Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus event. This is pretty exciting. The Toboggan is one of my favorite courses. It's always going to be near and dear to my heart. I think that Tobo shows great on camera, creates amazing storyline, and draws a gigantic crowd from those Michiganders. Let's kick it off with FPO. The storyline going into the event was players jockeying for positions above that 20th position on the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings for FPO. We'll pop back to that in a second. But after round two, we saw some familiar names and some hot scores up at top. Kat Mertsch, Kristin Tatar, Owen Scoggins, Annika Christensen, and Haley King rounded out your top four after 2 rounds at the famed Toboggan. Round 3, though, we saw a heater. Holland Hanley shoots a 1033 rated -10 to jump her up 6 spots. So your lead card going into the final round will be Holyn Handley at -19, Kristen Tatar at -18, Kat Mertsch at -17, and Haley King at -16. Big names, big arms, great distance and distance control, and only 3 strokes separating those players. But the storyline DGN wanted you to know was how many times Holland could not hold off Kristen. How many times did we know that Kristen came back to beat Holland? She was like 2 out of 27 times Holland held her off or something. The stat, I'm sure, is on Disc Golf Pro Tour's Twitter or Statmander's Twitter if you want to check that out. Speaking of Twitter, we're on Twitter. Check us out. But Holland came out, shot well. Haley King matched her score. Kristin Tatar stuttered to start. We had a bogey, then we had a birdie, and then we had a double bogey. Actually, we went double bogey, birdie. A par, a birdie, a bogey, and ended up only shooting a -2, which means Holland not necessarily walked it in. She still had tons of pressure, but held that 3-stroke lead most of the back 9. Didn't really get too close from anybody else. And Holland takes a Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Plus event. Her sponsor's maybe biggest event, you can argue that later, in DGLO, but it is in the backyard at Discraft in Milford, Michigan at Kensington Metro Park. So congrats to her. But the big storyline was whose scores were going to count, how much people were going to move, and who is going to fall below that 20th line. So I'll give you the Paige Pierce was at 16th. Lisa Fakis was at 17th. Likey Lorenzen, 18th. Emily Weatherman, Rookie of the Year possibly, at 19th. Stacy Kiefer at 20th. Just outside 20, Hannah Wynn, Elias Middleton, maybe another Rookie of the Year candidate. Rachel Turton, Stacey Ronsley, Holly Finley, Raven Klein, Jessica Weiss, Allie Smith were your first 7 names outside of that group. That was a pretty big group in my opinion. Pretty crazy people. Remember that we have 2 playoff events coming up. I'm super stoked to watch both of them. What a wonderful sports weekend in general with college football, the NFL, and, of course, DGLO. On the women's side as well, shout out to Lindsay Moss, Michigan native, who shot 40 points over her rating to come in 22nd and cash at the DGLO event. Holly Finley shot 32 points over her rating, and Danny Clyden shot 32 points over her rating as well to give them places inside of that cash line. On the MPO side, ooh, man. So many storylines going in. Who is going to come back? Maybe we're going to have a repeat champion. Maybe players that have done well there before, like Kyle Klein or Andrew or Eagle McMahon, and what was going to happen. But what we saw right away was that hot scores kept people in it. So after round 2, Gannon Burr shot a -10, clean -10, 1076. Calvin Heimberg shot a 1058. Isaac Robinson shot a 1045, and Luke Taylor shot a 1058, to get you into the top 4 after 2 days. After 3 days, the same name was up top. Gannon Burr again shooting a -11, 1084, bogey free. Ricky Wysocki jumps up many spots to become in second. Ty Calvin at second going into the final day, and Isaac Robinson rounds out your lead card. So it was great for viewers, some of the new, some of the old, 4 different brands represented. And then on the chase card, right below them, you had Luke Taylor and Evan Smith, Young Guns, and fan favorite Simon Lizotte. So all those people that got to go out and watch at Kensington Metro Park, I'm sure had a blast. Now, we tried to get close. We tried to get exciting. But really, Gannon never had more than a two-stroke, or less than a 2-stroke lead, I should say. Ricky had his chances. Isaac had his chances. Evan Smith shot a really clean -8 from the chase card. But Gannon Burr takes down his 6th event of the year, I believe, off the top of my head. Pretty crazy stuff. I think he got every Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Plus event, too, which is just amazing. Amazing. Which brings us over to the MPO standings for your top 32. So the 5 right before that, Luke Humphreys at 28, Mason Ford at 29, Emerson Keith at 30, Evan Smith at 31, jumping inside, and Eagle McMahon taking 32nd. Just outside at 33, Ezra Aderhold, Paul Uleberry, and Callaway, Jake Hebenheimer, Matt Bell, Bradley Williams, Garrett Gerthy. So some big names that were outside of that top 32. Wow. What an exciting just battle. I thought Evan Smith jumping up. He shot 23 points over his rating. Came in 4th place. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy. And jumped inside of that top 32 for the wonderful Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship at the end of the year and those Pro Tour standings. Big shout out to Nick Robertson, the only player under 1,000, also Michigan native, that cashed in the event, shot 42 points over his rating, coming in 17th position. Austin Turner shot 20 points over his rating. Luke Taylor shot 17 points over his rating as well. So all those players shot real well to get inside of that cash line as well. I thought the course looked good on camera this weekend. In general, for the most part, we saw, like hole 12, 13, 11, massive pars. We kind of knew those things were going to happen. Love the wide amount of spread on 16 with that island. A lot of bogeys on 17 and 18 now that they've pushed it back around the corner for the last couple of years on that big uphill. Really enjoyed the way the course looked this year. I hope that there's not too many more changes. I like the different pin selections. Let's talk about hole 1, though. Hole 1 on the FPO side, when it was in that 513-foot spot, not a single birdie. So lots of bogeys. About a 50% par spread on most of the days, maybe 53% par, and the rest were bogeys. So pretty crazy hole to start off with right away for the ladies. Again, though, if you've never been to a Pro Tour event, that's a great one to go and see. Really like that stuff. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us at Disc Golf Daily. Remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate getting to interact with everyone. You'll see me mainly on X or the YouTube, commenting back. Remember to tell a friend as well, and until next time, keep in the fairway.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really does help us grow.